Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. I hope you guys are all enjoying your Wednesday. Another day, another video, another chance to sit in this lovely Newcastle sunshine and talk to you guys about Newcastle United. It is the 14th of June. Today, the transfer window is now officially open. And as we wait to hear on what time James Maddison will be arriving at the training ground, or what time Szoboszlai's flight lands up at Newcastle Airport, Newcastle have already had to make a few decisions of their own. As we head into next season, we have released our retain list. So what players we are letting go of this summer window, what players we are offering new contracts to this summer window, and what players we have offered contract extensions to this summer window. So I'm going to go through each player, give you my thoughts on each, and we've also got one or two players who are staying, who I think we still really need to try and get rid of this summer window as well. So let me know your thoughts down below on each of the players I go through. Starting off with the players who are officially leaving now. There's a whole bunch of youngsters who are leaving as well. One of the youngsters that stood out to me was Dan Langley. He has now been let go of by the club. Promising young goalkeeper whose name has been mentioned a few times. I swear to God, Newcastle have been pretty blessed for goalkeepers through the years. You think of Freddie Woodman when he was up and coming. You think of how great Tim Krul was. Even Fraser Forster, who were let go of, he went off to have a great career. So yeah, we've been pretty good in the goalkeeping department, and there's a few more goalkeepers to go through on this list, but Dan Langley is one of the few who's been let go. He was on loan at Gateshead for the season, but will not be having his contract renewed. The next one is Kieran Clark. He is now officially out. He'd been on loan at Sheffield United for the season. He's come back. Well, technically his contract, I doubt he's come back. Maybe he has. Maybe he's come back to say goodbye to everyone, but he won't be back this summer. In fairness to Kieran Clark, he was good for us. You think, that's the thing, it was a long time ago now. I think he's 33 years old now. He's a little bit longer on in his career. You think of the championship season when we came up, him scoring goals for fun, even in the promoted season, was bagging goals to try and help us stay in the Premier League. And as the years went on, and we saw him get a little bit of a chance when we went out to Saudi Arabia for that pre-season friendly, and he went and beat up one of the Saudi Arabian players. So I think at that point, the writing was really in the sand. But I think one that will pull on the heartstrings of a few is Matty Longstaff. He is now officially being let go of by the club. I say that his contract ended. It's been a tough one with Matty Longstaff, because you think back to that goal he scored against Manchester United, and people thinking, is he better than Sean Longstaff? That's what a lot of people said, that he was the younger brother was actually the one who was going to come through, and just didn't really work out that way. I think it's brilliant that he had his time with the club. I think it's brilliant that he got that goal against Manchester United that he'll hold close to his heart forever, I'm sure. But his contract was going to end. Steve Bruce kind of told him to stay. Stay. We'll give you more money. We'll give you more game time. And really, since he stayed, he never got a look in. We sent him out on loan a couple of times, which didn't really work. Playing at League One sides, and then, he's picked up the cruciate ligament injury, and there was question marks of whether we could sign him on for another year to help him through it. Well, in fairness to the club, they have actually put in their statement that Matty Longstaff will continue to receive treatment for his injury, despite not being offered a new contract, which I think is spot on. I think that's right of the club. I think he's been with us for a long time. He's given his best go. I think to offer him a new contract was probably not the right decision, but to offer him the help and support to get through his injury, and then possibly try and help him find a new club, I think is the right one. That is the right thing to do. And I should mention as well, Chris Wood. Chris Wood has left the club. Now, we knew this already. He went out on loan to Nottingham Forest in the January window, and it was already agreed that should he play so many games and do so much there, we would sell him for 15 million, which isn't too bad for a player that wasn't getting a game, and we ended up loaning out to sell him officially now to add that little bit of money to our bumper kitty for the summer. I'm pretty happy with. Whether the Nottingham Forest fans are happy with it is another question, because I'm not sure how overly convinced they were of him or Shelvey. It's actually rumoured that Shelvey might be on his way out already, because he just really hasn't settled in to life at Nottingham Forest. But those are the players, or the notable players, who are being let go of. Now, in terms of contracts and contract offers, there's been loads of rumours around Paul Dummett on a possible one-year extension, and Newcastle have confirmed they have offered Paul Dummett a one-year extension. Now, it hasn't said whether he's accepted it or not. I presume he would. I presume Dummett will grab his chance with both hands to potentially represent Newcastle in the Champions League this season, or at the very least, travel out with the squad and be part of a Champions League side. I mean, you know what it is. Dummett had a bit of stick over the years, but he's always tried his best. And I'm always someone who said, you know, particularly at times when we weren't playing our greatest football, he was someone who, you know, isn't the most skillful going forward. But sometimes all you need is for someone to kick the ball away. And that's what he used to get stick for. I tell you what, sometimes, you know, you've seen it with Manchester United passing it around the back. I bet their fans are screaming at them, kick the ball away. Yeah, big up Dummett. Living everybody's dream, every Newcastle fan's dream, going in there, getting paid by your club to go and have a crack on with the lads, play a bit of football around in the lovely sun, and then go and have a go at some Champions League football. So big up Dummett. Obviously, a lot of it revolves around homegrown players. We really don't have many, which is why people thought that maybe even Matty Longstaff might get a shout in, but I think that was just slightly too far. He was struggling in League One. You know, Champions League is a bigger jump. I think Paul Dummett can possibly do the easy things right. And if we don't have Paul Dummett in, that's an empty space in a Champions League squad where we need players. So big up Dummett. The other contract offer is for Loris Karius. That's right. So in terms of goalkeepers, I've already mentioned that Dan Langley is leaving. Well, Karius has been offered a new one-year deal. He was brought in on a free as an emergency player. It's expected that Carl Darlow will head off. So that means we've got Nick Pope, Dubravka, Karius, who's been offered a one-year new contract, and Gillespie has in fact had his contract extended by a year. So that pretty much nails down that we're going to have, well, Loris Karius, I suppose, could reject it if he want to. There is links between Karius and a couple of other clubs. One, I think, over in Belgium, who was interested. I think a couple of German sides as well. So who knows? Could Karius turn down a spot in a Champions League side, but where he's only going to play a second or third choice keeper to go, you know what, actually, I'm going to go over to Germany and get myself some first team football. So maybe it's not even nailed on that Karius will do it. You'd think that it would be discussed ahead of time. Maybe that if Karius has said, well, you know what, I wouldn't accept it anyway, we wouldn't offer him it. I guess we've kind of thrown our hat in the ring and give it to him. So you imagine Nick Pope will be number one, Dubravka's still there, Karius has got a one-year offer, and Gillespie's got an extension. So all of the rumours around the potential of Fraser Forrester coming in as someone who is homegrown obviously have fell by the wayside, because currently we have 4 potential goalkeepers on the table to be with the club next season. If we're offering Karius a new contract, is that because Dubravka's leaving? Quite possibly. Or will we kind of have 4 and then make a decision further up the line? We'll have to wait and see. It's I felt for sure that either Karius or Gillespie would be one of the two would go, which would leave us with Pope, Dubravka, and one of Karius or Gillespie. But now it looks like we're trying to keep both of them. So does that mean that Dubravka's on his way? Or does that mean we're going to have 4 goalkeepers? And I presume if this is all happening, we aren't in the market for another one. Because that had been rumoured, as I said, that we were looking at players like Fraser Forrester, players like Tim Krul, who would actually make up and be a part of the homegrown players. I believe Gillespie left too young, so he actually isn't part of that. But he, again, Gillespie, another lad from the local area who living out his dream as well, going into the training ground in the sun, enjoying it with the boys. And now he's getting a chance at Champions League football. So I cannot fault them for it. I mean, I would love to be doing it myself, and if anyhow thinks that's the right way to go, then it is. And it does take some hassle off. You know, we've got some good goalkeepers there. We've got enough to worry about this summer window without also trying to look at new goalkeepers too. So it looks like that will... I would read into that Darlow and Dubravka are both leaving. But I suppose it depends whether Karius accepts his contract or not. And if Dubravka wanted to go to Man U halfway through the season, does he want to stay now? We'll have to wait and see. But one of the other players who has had two actually, that has had a one-year extension, one of which is Dan Burn. Now, his contract wasn't actually due to end now, but I think we've just got, I think it actually says that he's agreed to extend it. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. There's talks about whether Trippier could get a new extension as his contract. It looks like Dan Burn had the option in there, which has now been triggered, and Dan Burn will be staying an extra year on top of what you already had left. But Matt Ritchie has been topic of conversation for a lot of Newcastle fans. Someone who I think we all know works very hard, someone who knows what Eddie Howe wants in a side. I think will give a great example of a person on the training pitch of where players should be, how hard they should be working, and I think it's probably a good guy to have behind the scenes. What I've said for some time is that if Eddie Howe wants to keep Ritchie, give him any role he wants. Give him a coaching role, give him a role, just the, I don't know, inspirational speaker role. Give him any role he wants. But don't maybe take up a space in the squad that we could use otherwise. That has not been the decision made by Eddie Howe, as we have now triggered a 1-year extension for Matt Ritchie's contract as well. So you let me know your thoughts on that down below. At the end of the day, Eddie Howe hasn't done too much wrong so far. So I will go with it and I will enjoy it. And if that's the way we want to play it, big up Matt Ritchie. Good to have you on board for another season. If he's never going to play, then I still just think we could have potentially used the market to try and fill that spot with another player. There's no point of giving him the extension if we're not going to give him a squad number. So he's going to be in the squad. Could we not have maybe used that for somewhere else? And if he's not going to play anyway, then he could have been around the training ground. We could have given him a year's contract doing whatever he wanted, just not in the squad. So let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on the players leaving. Matty Longstaff, unfortunately, heading out the door. But the fact that we've given contract offers to 2 goalkeepers. Dummett looks like he's going to stay. And looks like Matt Ritchie's in for another season with the team. So let me know your thoughts on all of that down below. Thank you for watching, as always. Videos coming out all of the time at the moment. The fixture list is actually released tomorrow. So if you're still watching right now, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. It's free to do so. And do not miss my video tomorrow when we scan over and look at some of the big fixtures ahead of next season's Premier League fixtures. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Enjoy your night, and I'll catch you later.